Right, so today here, our youth court students are in court on Thursdays, so we're missing a lot of people, and then on Thursdays we have a lot of people absent. So it might look like we're pretty empty today, but it's we're getting a lot done. However, housekeeping things, I'm going to start today's class. Rob will finish it because I have to go to the court to with Sherry to show them how we do the stuff that we do and answer any questions they have. But let's get started with today. This is day 4 of Google Apps class regarding what? What are we talking about? Docs this week. But today we're talking about spreadsheets. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we talked about Google Docs, and we got our Drive folder set up right, and we talked about naming files. Both of those last two things are very important when you think in terms of 3 years from now. You should have 5,000 files, and you need to be able to find a file quickly. And again, in Google, there's always more than one way to do things. Today, we're going to talk about spreadsheets. The school is not moving away from Excel today. This week, we moved away from Word to Docs. And that starts in Las Vegas. So nobody in California, don't get worried. We're not changing anything for you in California. We're just changing it here in Las Vegas to see how it goes and see how practical it is. The next step, though, would be spreadsheets. And like I said in the notes for today's class, spreadsheets lets you do 90% of the stuff that you're going to do 90% of the time in spreadsheets. So here's how we are. If you don't know how to use Excel, you can learn Excel and it might be really frustrating. And then if you don't use it, you're going to what?
Lose it.
You're going to lose it. You're going to lose it. Now, Google Spreadsheets is much easier to learn, and because it works very much like Google Docs in terms of finding files, naming files, doing things, you don't have to use it as much to not lose it. You only have to remember how to do some simple basic things. And then because of this other Google app called YouTube, you can always go back and watch this video, the 7-minute video, as a refresher on how do I do things in spreadsheets. So the message is for all of our students who don't know how to use Excel, how many people don't know how to use Excel? Okay. All but 2. So you do. Okay. So for everybody who doesn't know how to use Excel, you can learn spreadsheets by learning to drive in a Ferrari. Or you can learn by learning to drive a Toyota.
Right, which is, I like that.
Which is spreadsheets. It's much more practical. It's easier to do. So, especially if you have the Ferrari with the little flipper gear changing things. So, so spreadsheets is easier. We're not doing it. We're not changing over from what we do. Excel is still the thing. So today is just a simple introduction to spreadsheets. And the video we saw takes you through how to do the easy stuff.
That's the same as the training video.
It's the same as the training video. Now, the other thing is, Rob, on spreadsheets, is that part of Synergize? I think it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're testing in Nevada, and we're going to roll it out to California in a couple weeks, is a great training tutorial module for Google Docs or the Google Apps, and it's always on next to your Omnibar when you're in a Google app. It's called Synergize. So let's say you're in Spreadsheets and you forgot how to do something. You just click on the Synergize button and all of the tutorial stuff will come up. And the tutorials in Synergize are like Professor Teaches, right, Rob? They're like Professor Teaches. You have your headphones on, you're listening to them, you're watching on the screen, it'll say do this, do that. And so it's a very good experience. It's a good way to learn, and it helps you when you go to a company and say, I can help you move to the cloud. One of the things we're going to do is we're going to switch over to Google Apps. When you have to train people how to do it, all you do is you download this Synergize. You have the company download Synergize so that all of the employees there have this training tutorial on each of their machines. So it makes it easy to move forward. Now, what are the simple things, what are the basic things we need to know about Google Spreadsheets?
First of all, it's on our drive.
Okay, well, good. So where is it? Where is it? In California, Victoria, where do you find Google Spreadsheets?
Right. Go to your drive.
Right, exactly. You find it on the drive. Now, where is it hiding on the drive?
Under the create.
Okay, right. It's under Create. And then, for our best practices, once you create a spreadsheet, what's the first thing you should do?
Name it.
Name it.
Name it, right. And how do we name a file?
We clicked on it.
Name.
Title.
And
Click on what? Click on what, Dennis?
Title. Click on Untitled.
Right, exactly. We click on where it says Untitled. Now, how do we save a document or a spreadsheet?
it'll do it for you, but you would hit File and then tell it where to save it.
Okay, how do you, okay, that's one answer. What's the right answer? Good try. It automatically saves. Okay, yeah, but then you went on and said or. There is no or.
Okay.
Okay, so here's an important thing to know. You cannot save a spreadsheet. It does it automatically. You can't force save. It does it all the time automatically. Now you can make a copy, you can rename it, and so that's kind of a forced way to save. If you make a copy, what does that mean? You have the original somewhere saved. Now you have a new thing. If you rename it, same thing. You have the old version, i.e. sort of like a copy, and now you have a new one.
So it saves all your mistakes.
Well, it saves the mistakes until you correct them, and then it saves the corrections. Okay, now, how do we talk about where we put numbers in the spreadsheet? What are those little rectangles called?
No.
No, they're not called boxes. What did you say, Victoria?
Yeah.
Mel's?
I said cells.
Cells, right. They're called cells.
All these little boxes are set.
Every box is called a cell. So when you're talking to somebody and they say, go to cell C2, you know where that is, what that means. Okay, now, how do we specify which cell to look at?
By the number.
The number, then the letter, then the number.
Letter, then number. That's the important thing. You don't say 1A. You don't say go to 1A, go to 2B, go to 5Z. You say go to letter number, A1, B7, Z49, etc. Okay, that's how, yeah, it's like bingo. That's a great way to remember it. It's like bingo. And it's very important that you know that and do that in the concept of cells, because if you are going to be collaborating with someone, or you're going to be doing a document collaborating with someone,
Together, yeah.
you need to do it, you need to talk about things right. You need to say, okay, and why did you put the number in C5? You know what they're talking about. If he says 5C, you might think that's something in a Word document, like item 5 sub item C, right?
Right.
So that's the other important thing to remember. Now, the last important thing to remember, then I'm going to turn it over to Rob. Are you ready, Rob? How much longer do you need? How much longer till we complete? Okay.
4 minutes.
Sherry, are you ready to go? Okay, so as soon as Rob is done, we're out the door. So the other thing that's very important is how do you do equations? Okay, because what is a spreadsheet? A spreadsheet is just this big thing to do mathematical calculations on.
Right. And be able to print it, right?
And of course you can print it, or email it, or post it. or you can do a lot of things. You can give people a link to it. So every calculation starts with what? We just did it. No.
The letter, the column.
Equals, right. It starts with the equal sign. So that tells the software program, if you see an equals, now you need to be doing math. In other words, if you put in the cell C5 plus D2, it's not going to do an equation.
So you want equal, and then that's telling us what you want it to calculate.
Yeah. Okay. So equals cell, or you can put in a number, equals 52 times 1 million. Okay. You don't have to just click on a cell or type in the number of the cell. But the important thing to know, the take-home thing, if you think you're not going to remember this tomorrow, write it into your book under a page called Spreadsheets. All calculations start with the equal sign.
Well, I still had a question.
Okay, what is your question? Please?
So what's the point of shift 8?
What?
What's the point of shift 8 or the actual multiplication?
Well, shift 8. What is on your keyboard on shift 8? Right. Yeah. Asterisk means multiply.
Okay.
The slash is divide. Plus is plus, hyphen is minus. Okay? Those are the 4 main things. Now you can do a lot more complex things than add, subtract, multiply, and divide. But for our purposes for today, just showing people the simple stuff in Excel or spreadsheets, that's what you need to know. How do we create a document? How do we name a document? How do we move around inside of that document? How do we do basic math? One of the other great things about spreadsheets, and if everybody can go to their test spreadsheet, so your page should look something like this. Click on where it says Add-ons.
Do more with sheets.
Okay. So here is another great thing about Google, because it's Google. There's all kinds of add-ons that you can do to make your life easier and better in spreadsheets. Okay, so you have a lot of things, yeah. You have Flubberoo, which has to do with tests, mapping sheets, workflows, template gallery, yet another mail merge, Doctopus, fonts, remove duplicates, okay? And so I don't know how many there are, but it looks like there's about 50 of them in there. And guess how many there's going to be 2 years from now?
2050.
Probably. Okay? So Google makes it easy for people to do add-ons. Now, in Microsoft Excel, they have templates that you can download. They have things that you can do, but it's not as easy as this. And the reason this is easy is because it's on the cloud. Microsoft Excel is stored where? Where's Microsoft Excel right from? From your computer.
Right.
Okay, you have to load the program on your computer. This is in the cloud. So if somebody comes up with a new application or extension, they make arrangements with Google of however to do it, to offer it through the Google App Store, and you can get it right then. Boom, it's there. So let's say we do Flubberoo. So I click on it. It says it's free. I click on free.
And it explains what it does?
Okay, I accept the terms and, yeah, there's a thing that explains what it does. I accept the terms and conditions. It's working. Now I have it. So then you can see if I click on add-ons now, I now have Flubberoo in there. That's how easy it was.
It highlights in that bar, in that box.
Under add-ons now, when I click on add-ons, I get one that says Flubberoo. I put my cursor over that. It says grade assignment, set language, do this, help, etc.
And did it explain briefly what it is?
It did when I did it, yeah. When I went there, when I added.
That's irrelevant today. But
Well, if you wanted to do it, yeah, it's irrelevant today. But if I wanted to go back and see it, I go to add-ons, get add-ons, go to Flubberoo.
and it explains it.
Yeah.
And you can also, right there in the,
So now I click on, I can watch this little video,
And it'll tell you.
little YouTube video of what it is. And then I have this other stuff here.
besides that, right here in your right-hand corner here, there's a search add-ons box.
Right. Exactly. So we can search for more add-ons. So, questions in California?
None here.
Is it safe? How safe is it? One question.
Okay, so no questions in California.
I got a question, Ed. Hold on.
All right.
How safe is the files that are in the Drive?
How do you save them?
So how safe?
Oh, how safe? They're very safe. Okay, now, but here's the thing. So that's a very good question, because a lot of people say, I'm not going to put my stuff on there because it's not safe on Google. So here's the two things to remember. If Google was not safe, nobody would use it right now. They'd be out of business, because the word would spread, Google is not safe.
And these are pertinent to people's records. And
Number two, so Google is safe and secure, but number two, it's only as safe as your password. Okay? Because you have to log on. I can't see your drive unless I know your password, unless you shared a file with me. Okay, so if you have a password that's like password, your password is password, not very safe and secure. You probably can't have that password anymore. But if you have a safe and secure password that nobody's going to guess, you're not going to have to worry about it. The third thing, probably the most important thing, number one. Number two. The third thing is James Bond is probably not going to try to hack into your account. Okay? If you think that James Bond is going to hack into your account,
change the password.
well, if you think that James Bond, the master hacker, is going to be interested in your account, he probably isn't. But in that case, the thing to do is just don't put anything that you're afraid of James Bond seeing in your drive. Just don't do that. But I feel very safe and secure having copies of my birth certificate, my kids' birth certificates, their medical records, my driver's license, my social security card, all of that stuff, my credit cards, all of that stuff stored on a folder in my personal drive in case my house burns down, I lose it, I get mugged or whatever. Now I can see I have all of my documents and I have them in a secure place. If I didn't have them there, where would I have them? I'd have them printed out, right, in my home.
Physical.
Or a safe deposit box.
Okay, or a safe deposit box. But what if I lost my key?
Well,
Hassle time.
you
Yeah,
can give
get
it
a
to
drill.
a friend of yours and plan the whole
Okay,
ride.
so that would be another. So life gets complicated.
Right.
The simple thing is Google is safe and secure
So you can scan your documents and then just upload it to the drive?
to your personal drive in a folder. And on what I do, and what I would do is you name the folder something like virus. Don't name it, here's all my important personal stuff.
Wouldn't it intrigue somebody?
And somebody won't open it because it says
Virus.
virus.
Most people, if they see virus, say, I'm not going to take a chance.
Right.
I don't know what's in there. But if the folder is called vital personal information and somebody hacked in, that's the first place they're going to go, right? Well, right?
I believe so, yes.
Likely, yeah. But most people don't go virus. So at my house, where you could go onto your wireless thing and you can see all your neighbors' things, my wireless network is called virus.
So now we know this.
Okay, you know this. But for my neighbors, if they're trying to figure out whose house can I try to steal internet access from, they're probably not going to try to steal it from one called virus,
Right.
right? Or danger, something like that, warning. Okay, so Rob, are you ready?
Yeah.
Are there any other questions in California?
Fine in Long Beach, thank you.
Any more questions in Long Beach?
Santa Fe Springs is good.
Santa Fe Springs is good. Good. Okay. Well, then we can end this. Rob can shut it down.
So we have a sub-teacher now.
Rob is the instructor's aide.
We can,
He's the aide de camp.
And we can listen to him.
He's the field marshal.
Right.
Well, you can play around with it. You can continue watching the video. You know, the graduation here is Excel. To graduate, you have to know Excel and Docs. Okay? We have not switched over to spreadsheets.
On that, you're talking to us or California?
You. California is Microsoft Office. That has not changed. But I have to go. Sherry, have the stuff?
I love.
Okay. Well, we'll see you all on Monday. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, we'll see you Monday. Thank you.
Good luck.
This automatic, you're gonna save it? Yeah.